Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Untitled Marvel Project. I am your host, Tanner Dexter. I am joined by Mr. Tucker Hazel. Today, we are talking about the much anticipated season finale to WandaVision, maybe series finale. We are not really sure if they're going to make another one of these, but I really hope they do because we might be showing our hand early here, but let's get right into it. It was bad. We both agree that it was pretty bad finale. If you were watching the last few episodes of the Untitled Marvel Project, our show where we unravel and decode and analyze the Marvel content that we're supposedly getting for the rest of the year,
Yep.
we've seen diminishing returns in the last few episodes, and this continued on that downward slide. Tucker.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. right now.
Yep.
We we stayed up to watch it and then we talked a little bit about it with a friend. Shout out to Landon in our Discord. If you want to talk to us about the episode, join our Discord, link in the description.
Yeah.
But we stayed up to watch this, right? It's the finale, might as well. We've been thinking about doing it
Yeah. We've been
each
playing
week,
with
and
the
then
idea.
at this point we were like, you know what, might as well just celebrate for the finale, and stay up. And this was the longest episode by a couple of minutes, not nothing dramatic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were very underwhelmed, very disappointed for a number of reasons,
Yeah.
and I've received a little bit of input from the wind from Twitter, of people saying, "Oh, the people who are disappointed just set their expectations too high, too much fan theory, stuff like that." But I think there are very genuine reasons to
Yes.
be critical and disappointed in
Listen,
this episode.
we are guilty of doing too much fan theory on this. We've been caught red-handed, okay?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But at the same time, through talking about it after the episode, after that final post-credit scene rolled, which we'll get to, uh, yes, it was too much building up fan theory, but also yes, there is lots of characters whose plot threads are just left hanging, blowing in the breeze. There is just a really weird pacing issue with this episode,
Mm-hmm.
and just anything interesting that it could have done, it did not do,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the fact that my question still stands. What really changed from the beginning of this series to the end of this series?
Yeah.
Because I think we tried to break this down. What really changed? Let's do this. Wanda, more powerful, recognizes her powers now. That's cool. I'll give him that. That's cool. Um,
Monica has
Monica,
powers. Yeah.
Monica has powers, and she's gonna go meet Nick Fury.
Cool.
That's cool.
Probably the best thing to come out of this.
Yes, but what else changed? We still have Vision. He's out there somewhere, but his character arc is just kind of reset to a point. And they really,
that
as you
did,
said, they really
we're gonna
pulled
talk about that.
a Gamora Loki with that. And kids are gone, so any inclination of like mutants in this are gone. Uh,
Pietro thing was nothing.
Pietro
It
thing ended a
turned
dick
into a
joke.
dick joke. Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
Agatha is just in a thing to be used as at Wanda's fucking pleasure.
disposal. And the side characters really just disappear towards the end. But yeah, Tucker, where would you like to start on analyzing this episode?
I think I think we should start with the fact that this is our fight episode. This is
Yes.
our climactic battle. This is CGI. This is superhero stuff. Um, Honestly, feels very out of place in this show.
It did.
Uh,
It did feel out of place. I will
and I
say
think
that.
because of that, I wasn't. I mean, I could have expected it, but I wasn't ready for how bland CGI fights can be. Uh, because this was not cleverly implemented into the story. To be honest, it wasn't super flashy cool. I mean, I think the CGI looked pretty good for what it was for television
Yeah.
special effects, especially. Um, but I didn't find any particular part of the fight compelling. One of our biggest complaints, I think, about the episode in general was how passive so much of the cast was. A lot of
Yes.
people just standing around, a lot of super powered individuals just
Yes.
standing around.
There was a point when Wanda and Agatha were flying in the sky, shooting beams at each other, when Vision, Billy and Tommy, and Monica were all just on the ground, presumably looking up and staring at him.
Yeah. But also a bunch
Not
of
not
shield
doing.
guys who are
Oh,
now de-armed, but they're just chilling. They're not like
yeah.
going up to them like, "Hey, who are you? Like, what's going on here? Like there's a lot of passivity in this episode, and I think
Yes.
that's part of why it was underwhelming. And I think, look, I'm gonna push this point home one more time. Is we we as a group, as a fan base, whatever, set our expectations pretty high with all the fan
Hmm.
theory speculations that we had. I think that there is reason to believe they led us astray for certain things. They did say that this was going to set up for Multiverse of Madness, which it does.
But not in an interesting way.
Yeah, not in any major
Listen,
way. Just
I think I don't know if I said this on this show, but I said if they do the least interesting cameo that they could do is Doctor Strange, and I
yeah,
like pretty much expected that they would do that, but they didn't even do Doctor Strange at the end
no,
of this.
they didn't even get that far.
Yeah.
But I mean, even smaller things, like there's a lot of fan speculation. It was um oh, X-Men crossing over to multiverse stuff. We got Evan
Yeah.
Peters back. That we got that bubble completely popped by a dick joke.
Yeah.
We got oh, Mephisto. There's like, there's a bug on the wall. The bunny's eating stuff. Okay, that's interesting. That could be, that's one of the more
Hmm.
ludicrous ones, but it's still, I think, a little bit of potential there, a little bit of hints.
Yeah.
Monica's aerospace engineer friend,
Yeah.
that fell flat. Jimmy Woo was going to have friends show up in this, which did they even? I don't know.
I think they were in the background and taking apart that one that the secondary sword base. I
Sure.
think.
Yeah, but then even that, like, there was so many setups for things that were like encouraging speculation that
Hmm.
turned out to not be anything major or anything influential.
Part of me wonders how the pandemic might have impacted the production of this, especially in the latter half, which is where we're having these issues. But even the production, the writing comes first
Yeah.
in those situations, and the writing just was very limited in the sense that we're talking about.
Yeah. And I think that for me, not getting anything clever or interesting out of the battle,
Yeah.
um, it really only funneling into Wanda's arc. I think Vision had his own thing with White Vision, and I'm not a fan of that. I think it could have been handled much more interesting. But I
Hmm.
also think that the fact that what everything was so passive, and we didn't get to see Monica unleashing her powers and teaming up with Wanda. We didn't get this. I just think that, and maybe it just sounds like I'm whining and wanting them to do more, but I think the very least they could have done for a final fight was have the family team up, have it
Yeah.
be a family standing together, family triumphs over evil. Instead, it was I'm more powerful, and that trumps over
It
evil.
was the ending quite literally was give me your power. Okay, have my power. There's too much power. You can't handle my power. I'm more powerful than you.
Yeah, and while the family just stands around.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
feels like I want to say it feels like a first draft, but even in the first draft, you could have at least had the family like do have a fight together. But no, they stand together for one like Incredibles-esque shot. And
yeah,
then Wanda's like, "Boys, handle the military." And they do that in about 10 seconds, which
yeah.
granted makes sense. They have superpowers and these guys have guns.
No,
But
yeah, yeah.
make it
Didn't
more
need to take a long
interesting,
time.
give them more agency, give them more stuff to do.
Give Tommy a slow down shot, a fucking
Oh, yeah.
Quicksilver.
Since
Oh,
he, since you didn't give one to Evan Peters as fake as Ralph Boner as Quicksilver,
yeah,
um, give it to Tommy. That'd be great. Are you kidding me?
that would be fantastic.
I guess I kind of liked the Vision Cream Vision. I don't call him White Vision. I call him Cream Vision. He's not. He's kind of an off
Why?
white. He's a little off
He's
white.
not.
He's a little off white.
He's not creamy off white. He's like a
Mm,
bluish tint off
he
white.
look.
I'm a white aficionado.
I,
That
I
sounds
don't.
weird.
I don't think anyone is denying that, Tucker.
Um. Okay, so I think we also need to talk about the other, major point of the episode, and really it can be broken down into two things: the fight sequence, and then the
The
very prolonged
emotional. Yeah.
ending, emotional ending, which for what it was, I think was good. I think it
Yeah.
was good acting. I think it was the best acting in the episode.
Yeah. Probably.
Um, I think that it was very touching. I enjoyed the fact that they had to, like, say goodbye again, but we'll say hello again in the future. I think that was
Hmm.
a nice emotional cap on it.
Hmm.
I just think it's so predictable. It's so
Listen,
flat. It's
if I didn't
so
have,
nothing
yeah,
creative to it.
if I didn't have a cold, dead, cynical heart, I might have felt something there, but I didn't, and I don't put that on the show. A lot of emotional beats in the show and in other things fall short to me, but I can recognize when they're well written.
Yeah,
This was well written, but again, it feels like a first draft of all these scenes, of all these ideas.
yeah.
It didn't feel like anyone went through with a fine tooth comb and like said, oh, we can actually make an interesting interaction here. We can shorten this scene down to make it more concise and more punchy emotionally. It
Hmm.
felt like the classic monkey meme that we like to do with a monkey at a typer zip, and
Yeah,
they just put that to print.
yeah. Um, Which, and I think that's what going to be the thing that divides most people for this episode is whether or not the emotional impact really connects with you. Because
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of people really praising that, and honestly, that's the part of the episode that I have the most respect for. I think that it was handled reasonably well. It just wasn't particularly interesting. Um, and I think the fact that I'm not finding a lot of this very interesting is just the fact that we had so many episodes leading up to this that was cliffhangers at the end. Oh
Hmm.
shit, what's gonna happen next? They're
Yeah.
always keeping us on our toes. And for the last episode, they didn't really do anything to warrant all that setup.
No. I think we can get into the larger context of what Disney and Marvel wanted out of the show, but I do want to I want to talk about Vision a little bit, and I want to
Okay.
talk about the post credit scenes,
Well,
and
there's
more.
something else we have to also have to talk about,
What's
which
that?
is the side characters.
Of course, yeah. Let's wrap it up with do Vision and then the end of the show of all the side characters and whatnot.
Sure.
So Vision, I was gonna say I liked that scene where he kind of like he doesn't use brute force. He's like, hey, we're literally the same person.
Yeah.
Where I'm not going to out brute force him. I'm going to use my superior emotional intelligence to appeal to the Vision that I know is in there.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that was a really cool
I
concept.
agree.
But again, feels like a first draft of that scene.
Hmm. It's like, yeah, we want him to use logic instead of power.
Yeah,
Great. Okay, come up with a fucking boat thing, which was fine. I don't have anything against that.
yeah.
But and like unlock the memories
Hmm.
of White Vision,
Cream
and
Vision.
then and stop, and then just have him spoop right out at the top.
And don't make an appearance ever again in the show. We don't know where he went. We don't know what his motivations are now. We have
Yeah.
no clue, no earthly clue what happened to Cream Vision.
And so here's the thing, and we mentioned this earlier. This kind of feels like what they did with Loki with Gamora, is they wanted the scene to have emotional impact with Vision having to, say goodbye. But what they've done is giving themselves an out to bring the character back in a different way. And that really hampers my the impact that I feel from it.
Hmm.
Because this Vision that we have now with Cream Vision is just a less interesting character. He he has
Yeah,
the
yeah. They
he has
took
the
his character
memories.
back several steps.
Exactly. He didn't go through the development of having a family, of coming to terms with the fact that his wife lied to him. All of that is in the Vision that is now completely gone, which, in all honesty, I think that what's probably going to happen whenever this other Vision shows up, presumably in Multiverse of Madness,
Maybe.
is
I
that
don't know. Who
is
knows
that
what's gonna be that's gonna be.
Wanda's going to be able to like implant the memories of the Vision that had all that development
Yeah.
into that body, and it's going to be like a weird amalgamation. But even then it's like, well, yeah, then his sacrifice didn't mean much. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so many layers to this not feeling like good writing. Like,
Yeah.
if the White Vision had come to that realization and then sacrificed himself to help Wanda,
Hmm.
like, and
Well, here's
and
the
then
you've talked about the sacrifice, that we should have brought that up in maybe the emotional part of this
sure.
episode. Is that you brought up a really basic? I mean, I don't blame you for making it basic, but
Mhm.
it's better than what they did in the show. Is that what maybe Wanda is the hex is coming apart. She has to free the people that are trapped in it, and but she can only take her kids or she can take Vision and Vision has to sacrifice himself. That'd be great, much more interesting, and we'd have some real tangible change to the universe if we had the kids with it.
Yeah.
but they didn't do that. They took the most simple, blasé path forward for this finale.
Hmm. So with the side characters, and you want
Yeah.
to tie this into what other topic?
Because we only really get them at the end, so
Well, we have one or two scenes of Jimmy Woo throughout.
yep.
Not really doing anything
Fan favorite
particularly.
Jimmy Woo, I might add.
Fan favorite Jimmy Woo, who's been absent for the last two episodes,
Yep.
gets his mighty triumphant return as bit character for a handful of scenes to play against Hayward, who is just a lame character.
Yep.
Holy shit, what a boring character. Yep, he's selfish.
He's a corrupt government agent, and he goes to jail.
Go to jail. Yeah, Jimmy Woo, no compelling finish to the character, no payoff for the things that were set up earlier, not even any banter with Darcy, who
No.
got even a shorter end
He
of the stick.
crashes a van and then disappears, poof, into midair.
Yeah, and is explained away with a interaction between Monica and Jimmy at the end.
Hmm.
Oh, she said something funny. Yeah.
That we did. She said, "Here's a funny thing that we didn't have the charismatic Kat Dennings deliver."
Yeah. I wonder how she feels about not being in the
I
climactic
don't know.
episode.
She probably is not going to say anything bad about Disney Marvel because she still wants to work for him.
That's
But
true.
Monica gets the most, granted, because obviously we said that she's one of the few things that's changed in the universe at the end of this
Yeah.
show. Her powers manifest. We see them. She slows
Well,
down
they did
some
a little bit
bullets.
last or
Yeah,
two episodes ago, but I can't remember some
but
point.
she slows down some bullets when they go through her. That was neat.
Hmm.
She has like some transparency powers, or I don't
Yeah.
know what you call that, but and Talos's daughter shows up in a post-credit scene,
Yeah.
right? Yes,
Hmm.
and she's gonna go meet Nick Fury
Yep.
on a
In
spaceship.
whatever spaceship it is, I would have said sword, but I
But
just don't
now
have
it's
a
sword
clue.
as this, so
Yeah. Who knows what that is? But that's fine. That's just very basic setup for Captain Marvel 2.
mhm.
It's like now we know why Monica is meeting with Nick Fury.
Yeah, that would have been a good post-credit scene in a better finale.
Yeah. But no, but the real better post card scene is Nick Fury finding her, is them actually meeting, and
Yeah,
not, and it can be the scroll revealing is like, oh hey, we need to take you to meet Nick Fury, and then you have a scene where they meet up and he explains something that's like, oh shit, is this what's gonna happen in Captain Marvel 2?
hmm
Is this what Secret Invasion is? Like, there's just so many layers to the fact that this didn't take any extra steps to excite me for the future,
hmm
to pay off the characters except for Wanda and the Vision that doesn't exist anymore, but that might in the future. Like, there's
Um, let's talk about the other post-credit scene, which
okay.
is where if the credits were rolling, I'm like, okay, we got that okay, decent Monica Rambeau with the scrolls and Nick Fury thing.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. This is gonna tie us into Multiverse of Madness. We're gonna get Benedict Cumberbatch. I kind of predicted it. It's kind of lame, but hey, at least it'd be a high note to end the show on. And we get a slow zoom over to some
Really
wilderness.
long
Yeah,
environmental shot.
into a cabin, and we see Wanda there with a cup of tea or something. And when she's in, you're like, okay, she's there, and Doctor Strange is gonna like kind of come down from the sky. He's gonna manifest. He's gonna open the portal with his ring, his sling ring. And
Wanda,
now
I
we,
need your help. Wanda, I know what's going on.
uh-huh. But no, we keep pushing into the cabin. I'm like, okay, so he's in the cabin. He's in the cabin somewhere. But we go into a bedroom. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a cabinet. This is looking more Doctor Strangey. It's got some ornate designs on it. We see someone hovering. We see some magic in the corner of the screen. I'm like, oh, here he is. He's doing his classic, his weird little head thing that he does. No, we pan over, and it's also Wanda. She's
Kind of
astral
astral
projecting.
projecting. One of the versions.
She's astral projecting probably this one that's studying.
Yeah.
Uh, and she's in her Scarlet Witch outfit, which we didn't mention. She gets her Scarlet Witch
Oh yeah,
outfit in
she does.
this.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
No complaints. Yeah.
No
It's
complaints.
okay.
But she's just looking at some books. She's looking at the Necronomicon or whatever that book was.
And then we sort of hear, we clearly hear the
Yeah,
voices of Billy
Billy
and
and
Tommy
Tommy.
just being like, "Help, mom, help!" And then it's like, cut to black.
That's the end of the
And here's the
show.
thing: here's the thing, fucking ladies and gents.
Hmm.
I am a spoiled brat when it comes to comic books. Of course, I know about these characters. I know about Billy and Tommy. I know about House of M. I know how all that happened. It was so clear to me that they were going to be a larger part of the universe,
Hmm.
and maybe that's just me knowing too much about it is why I'm underwhelmed by this. But because I think people are going to be excited. It's like, oh, the kids are coming back. That's fucking crazy. Or
Yeah.
they're still like present, kind of like maybe that will excite people. But as someone who does know that they're characters in the comics that do
Yeah.
stick, who did disappear for a while, and
I
then
think there's probably enough people who who if they didn't know, they learned because of this show, just because
yeah,
of the numerous articles and explained videos that are like, actually, these are characters in the comics, and these are what their powers are, and they're in the Young Avengers.
yeah. And something I think, oh shit, what were you gonna? You said so. Oh, is that it does undervalue the fact that they disappeared at the end, or went to sleep and were probably unwritten from reality
Yeah,
as the hex closed down. Their voices being at the end is an interesting stinger, but it coming so close after the fact that they had to disappear
yeah. What's the
doesn't.
point? Just keep them alive from the ending, and then we get a tangible change to the universe again,
Mm,
and we don't have to cover more ground to bring them back. We can just get into their story.
yeah,
It
yeah,
seems it seems very it seems like they were really spinning their wheels at the end in this finale to like, okay, we gave you some cool stuff, but we're gonna take it back and we're gonna have to build it back in a slightly different way in the future.
yeah. I just think that so much of this feels like setup. Like there's no closure for this. Well, there's
Yeah,
some closure. There's no satisfying or interesting inherent material in this show, because as we said, it didn't really seem to have a ton of impact. It just feels like, okay, we're gonna see this story finished up in later movies. We're
yeah,
gonna see, hopefully, and we did our research. Doesn't We can't confirm or deny. Uh, Kat Denning or Darcy character is gonna have her final exciting moments in Thor 4.
yeah,
Jimmy Woo will have his final moments in Ant-Man 3.
yeah.
Wanda's story will be fleshed out more in Doctor Strange, but how much is that going to take precedence in that movie? It's a
I
Doctor
want
Strange
more
movie.
cool stuff. I don't want to see Wanda getting her kids back. She already had a kid. We just saw her kids
Yeah.
like a year when that movie comes out. We would have seen them like a year ago. Just
Hmm.
keep them. Just just change the universe a little bit. We don't have to return to the status quo at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And here's kind of I'm going to do my closing thoughts on the
Okay.
entire series, if I may. It was fun novelty in the first few episodes. It was cool to see those. There was some rampant speculation that we all had a lot of fun with
Hmm.
that with the little hints they were giving us. But even because of that rampant speculation, even disregarding all of that, the ending wasn't interesting. It was very, like I said, very blasé, very simple path forward. Feels like a first draft of this script where they didn't really want to change a lot for the larger MCU.
Yeah.
And they really didn't. I guess if that was their goal, they succeeded, but that was a bad goal in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And the strength of the MCU compared to something like, I don't know, let's just make up a universe. Let's call it the DCEU.
Okay, I've heard of it, or
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it. What's
Yeah,
that?
because I just made that up.
Yeah.
The strength of the MCU compared to the DCEU is that Marvel creates self-contained stories in the sense that they all connect. They all link up to create a larger universe. There's none of this. Oh, you'll see the payoff to this in a later movie,
Yeah.
in a later
Each
TV
each
series.
each can each thing is its own contained story with a satisfying
Yeah,
conclusion.
that has been the case with most MCU movies up to this
Yeah.
point.
A couple,
This,
a couple exceptions. I
a
would
couple
say
exceptions.
Infinity War intentionally,
Yes,
set up for
obviously.
Endgame. Like there are certainly a few that lean more heavily into, okay, this is supporting material, but even within that, it's enough. Com- okay, so here I don't know how much more you have to say in your
I
full
just want to say
thoughts.
this is the least. This is the least. That's the strength of the MCU, and that WandaVision does that strength the least.
Yeah.
The least self-contained. It is. It is
Yeah,
an.
it is the least self-contained because there's so much. expository setup for, okay, this is what happened in Age of Ultron, this is what
Yeah.
happened in Civil War, this is what happened in Infinity War, this is what happened in Endgame.
But
Like
if you're
all
going to give us all that explanation, give us something interesting built on top of that in your own show. Don't say, and we're going to build on top of that in the next movie, in the next TV show, in the
yeah,
next season of this series. I don't know if they're making that or not.
yeah,
But this was just like the most stepping stone, middle of the road, don't want to change anything, vanilla flavored thing that we could have gotten as the first Disney Plus MCU show.
mhm,
And like I said, I don't hate it. The first few episodes are have a very fun novelty to them. They were very fun in the moment to speculate upon. Maybe we did that too much. Granted, I feel like I'm repeating myself. We did that too much. But at the end, we just had the finale, and what changed? That is my
yeah.
question.
So for me, I think the problem with the show is its pacing. I think the first few episodes, as you said, fun novelty, cool to
Hmm.
see the aesthetic differences, cool to see them tackle the comedy of different eras, cool to see
Yes.
these characters in this different context, with hints of, okay, there's something larger going on, really interesting mystery tidbits dropped throughout.
Hmm.
Second, second act, whatever, of the show is, okay, the world's a little bit larger. We've got these other characters being introduced that you're getting involved with. You've got a lot more mystery being built up of how is this going to connect? How are these characters going to react to this? We're building up their stories. And then the last quote unquote act, last 3 episodes, if you go back and watch our reviews, they've just getting progressively and progressively less satisfying.
Yeah.
They've been reflective. They've been set up. There has been no conclusive payoff for these things,
Hmm.
and it just feels like it fizzled out at the end. It was cool. Okay. Oh shit. This is pretty
This is
interesting. And
going
then
somewhere.
and then
It's
and
not
then
really
it
going
petered out.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Because what was episode 7 again?
Uh, Episode 7 was the uh
Ag-
no, at the very end of that,
is
right? Yeah,
Agatha
yeah,
Agallah. Yeah.
it was Agatha all along. So the majority of that episode was it was the 2000s episode. The
Yes.
kids go over to Agatha's house. Things are glitching out. Wanda's having a tough
Oh,
time.
true. Okay.
And
Yes.
then
So
yeah,
that episode felt like setup for the villain. Episode 8
was
is
expository. It was
it,
establishing the fact that Wanda had these powers all along.
yes. Neither of those in themselves, personally, for me, very interesting.
Okay.
They felt like setup for other things. Unfortunately, neither of those had the conclusive payoff because this is probably the least interesting episode for Agatha. She was just
A cackling
evil
evil
because she's
villain.
evil.
Yeah.
Like
She wants the
no,
power. She wants all the power.
yeah, and so that kind of takes away from the fact that she was planning all this stuff. What was she planning? To take power from Wanda? Fucking great. Where's like the traps?
Yeah.
Where's the conniving? Where's like all that? And then yeah,
It
and
was
then
the
her
it was in the
trauma,
song. It was in the song that we had.
her tr- true, her trauma and grief, which we saw in episode 8, was good, but it was the theme of the show. It didn't feel inherently interesting or like there could be payoff for it because yeah, we know she's sad. We know she's been through shit. That's the
Yeah, we
character.
saw it. We've seen it in the movies.
Yeah. And then that didn't really, I mean, she had to say goodbye at the end, emotional ending, but
Yeah.
again, paint by numbers emotional ending.
Yeah. Okay. Do
Oof.
you have much else to say on this?
No, I've said my piece. We spent a lot of time talking about this with our friend earlier, so we're
Yeah.
probably going on clear over an hour of discussing
Yes.
our disappointment in this episode.
Yeah. But to close it out here, folks, thank you for watching this first season of the Untitled Marvel
Oh,
Project. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll be doing that week by week as well.
yeah,
We're also doing the DC Snyderverse, Man of Steel, BVS Ultimate Cut, and Justice League,
yeah.
all in preparation for the Snyder Cut of Justice League. If you're interested in any of those things, I ragged on the DCEU a little bit in this episode. If you're interested in any of those things, tune in and give them a watch. We go very in depth with our friend Abram, who you might have seen on here, who loves Zack Snyder, and we just make fun of him mercilessly. So that's a bit of fun.
It's a little bit of horse bucky.
And if you like any of the content here on Backlog Banter, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and stay tuned for more of our videos.
Join the
Thanks
damn
for,
Discord.
yeah, join the Discord. There's a link in the description for that. Thanks for watching, everyone.
See you guys later.